You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
Today on our Weight Loss Wednesday show, we're going to go over how intermittent fasting can actually backfire for some people. And I'm going to talk about it specifically today from a weight loss perspective. So there's a lot of people who may not want to look into the longer intermittent fasting, which means this. They might not want to go completely without food for a period of 24 hours or more. So intermittent fasting, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I personally have been using it for, I would say, around a decade. I've been using it in my practice for about 5 to 6 years, and it is absolutely incredible for overall health, for weight loss, and for longevity. But keep in mind, the intermittent fasting that I've always recommended for every single human alive, except for, remember, that one group that I've talked about before on previous podcasts, is that you should go 12 hours every single night, overnight, from dinner to breakfast. So what does that mean? Well, it's very simple to do. You essentially stop eating, let's say at 7 p.m. at night, and you're going to just go until 7 p.m. the next day. Or for someone like myself, I might stop eating around 7:30 or so at night, and I'm just going to go till 7:30, 8 o'clock the next day, which is when I have my breakfast. I wake up earlier than that, but I wake up and I just have maybe a glass of water, maybe some ginger tea, just something like that in the water that's 0 calories, no sugar, nothing to spike my blood sugar as well. So let's talk about that. Now, the longer intermittent fasts, some people say, well, you should go from dinner the night before until lunch the next day. And that's going to be more, 16 hours or so, maybe potentially a little bit longer than that. And then there's often people who say, well, you should do a 24-hour intermittent fast once a week or twice a week. Now, I've used all of these, and they work to varying degrees for different people. For example, if you're someone who just isn't going to eat well at all, doing a 7-day detox once a month has always been one of my recommendations. It works incredibly well just to reset the body. Another way to do it is just to go from Sunday night to Monday night, dinner to dinner, 24 hours with just drinking water or hot lemon water or hot ginger tea or anything like that. And that works great as well. So it's kind of finding what works for you. But let's talk about now the average person. The average person, remember, the only group of people I said that should not go the 12 hours overnight, who might not be able to just initially, just in the beginning, are those people who are trying to rebalance their blood sugar levels and have adrenal-based issues where they need to not allow themselves to go in hypoglycemia. Hypoglycemia is when they go into low blood sugar, okay? So that's really important. But there's a lot of people out there right now who say skip breakfast. That's what I'm talking about today, this longer thing of skipping breakfast every single day. So my recommendation is this, is if you are someone suffering or dealing with low blood sugar issues or someone that's dealing with hypothyroidism, thyroid-based issues, I don't recommend that. I do recommend having breakfast. Of course, I recommend having a smoothie or something light. And the reason is this. I've been looking at a lot more of the research, and it goes back to what we've always thought, and again, I've seen the research before many years ago. It's just being reinforced now, is that fasting can put your body into a state of higher cortisol or fight or flight. So that means that if you're actually starting your day, now, if you're completely at rest, like let's just say you're doing yoga that morning or meditation, it might not be a big deal to continue your fast. But if you're going right into work or you're sitting in rush hour traffic or you're dealing with kids or whatever it might be, you're probably going to need a little bit of fuel. And again, that could be a green drink, it could be a smoothie, it could be a little bit of fruit, it could be oatmeal, but it's going to be something that you're going to need to cut that fasting level right away. And this is important because when the body's in a stress state and you're trying to lose weight, it's going to most likely pull more blood sugar into your system, meaning from a process called gluconeogenesis, because it's not able to tap right into body fat. The body needs immediate fuel, and immediate fuel is more glucose-based. And most people aren't in a state of ketosis to be able to possibly tap into ketones. But even in a heightened state, it's still very difficult to use ketones. And they show that with maximal exertion weight lifts and items like that as well. So my recommendation is that if you, again, are dealing with hypothyroid issues, if you're dealing with hypo, meaning low blood sugar, you're going to want to not extend your fast past that 12 hours that I recommend. And another study really led me to bring this to you, and that's a study from the Indian Journal of Endocrinology and Metabolism. So again, most people probably aren't perusing through the Indian Journal of Endocrinology, but when I was doing some more research on this particular topic and I was going through PubMed, this was a fairly recent study that I wanted to bring to you. It's just about a year old. And what it looked at was something even more interesting, is that if you skip breakfast and you're used to having breakfast, what could happen in people with low thyroid can lead to low blood sugar. And they're finding that it wasn't the fast, but it was actually the dip in blood sugar. It's called postprandial state effect, can actually lower thyroid function. So it can lower TSH. So now they're using this as a very interesting way to actually calculate thyroid as well. Because remember, thyroid, cortisol, testosterone, all these hormones are not static in nature. Meaning like your thyroid is really active and working really well towards the nighttime and early AM. It's going to dip a little bit right before that, kind of around like the dinner time. It works in certain pulses, meaning it gets stronger for a few hours at a time and then it goes back down and goes back up. So our endocrine system, our hormone system is not static. And this is one of the things that can actually drop the thyroid level, is when you are going into low blood sugar. Now, keep in mind, it's still a fasted state. Your body might be thinking, oh, well, we don't have access to food, so we're going to slow the metabolism. This is a really interesting thing. It's also why when I'm working with someone with weight loss, we're really looking at the hormones and we're really tapping into and tuning into regulating blood sugar and keeping the body level. That's why when we do recommend something like a 7-day detox or something like that, the first 2 days are liquid fast days, but you're still having a shake every 3.5 hours. And that is to better regulate blood sugar levels, not only just in the acute phase, meaning temporarily that day, but also teaching your body over the next 7 days, 14 days, or 21 days how to keep itself well regulated, so that if the body isn't getting food, it doesn't automatically just drop blood sugar, lower than the specification that you would like. And that's really important, because in the long run, cleanses, detox, all those things are fine or I should say in the short term, they're all fine. In the long term, what we're looking to do is regulate and balance the body. And that's why I'm not as much of an advocate of a 3-day or 7-day juice cleanse, because too many of them are fruit-based. Now, if they were only green juice-based, it might be a different story. But again, the body right now is in such a weakened state because of the environment that we're in. There's just too many environmental chemicals. There's too many processed foods. There's too many chemicals from our foods as well, especially if we're not eating organic, that I believe that the body needs more vitamins, it needs more nutrition, it needs more amino acids to be able to deal with the body and the blood and the body fat as we're detoxifying. All of these things I think are crucial. So the bottom line is this. In the beginning, stick with a 12-hour overnight fast, because I like to give you a takeaway. So that's the takeaway. 7 to 7, 8 to 8, however you want to do it, 6 to 6 is fantastic. Do that for a period of about 3 to 4 weeks. See how your body reacts. There's no need to take it to that next level yet. And then after that, you say, well, you know what? I have a more relaxed day. It might be a Saturday. It might be a Sunday. I'm going to go now from dinner the night before. Let's say it's the 7 o'clock. And then I'm going to take that until 11 or 12 the next day. Try that out. See how your body feels. Again, you have to be in a more relaxed environment to do that. And if that works, maybe you just do it once a week. Maybe it's not every single day. And then as you're going through the process, your thyroid's healthy, you've repaired that, you don't dip into that low blood sugar. It's kind of easy to tell, meaning like you start to get what people call hangry, right? You start to get a little irritable, maybe a little lightheaded, maybe, again, more anxious or irritable. That's a sure sign that you're dipping into that low blood sugar or just low energy. So then you're not ready yet maybe for a 24-hour fast. But I found that after a period of a few months, you'll be able to do let's say once a week, every couple weeks, is do that 24-hour day, whether it's shakes only or whether it's just water that you're doing an intermittent fast for that 24 hours. But work your way up to it. What I'm trying to to say today is there's no rush. First, correct the underlying adrenal-based issues, the underlying thyroid-based issues, or the underlying blood sugar-based issues. Once you do that, then you can increase your intermittent fast from 12 hours to 16 or potentially 24 hours once a week or maybe twice a week at the most. Again, if you don't have other levels of stress in your life. So hopefully this episode was helpful. And of course, I might not have been able to answer every question all in one 10-minute episode. So if you ever have follow-up questions, simply go to stevencabral.com/Ask Cabral and submit your question there. I'm happy to answer those each and every weekend on our Cabral House Calls. Have a great day, and I'll talk with you soon. Before you go, I wanted to ask you this question. What if I could teach you in just a couple of hours how to transform your thyroid, hormones, adrenal, cholesterol, blood pressure, blood sugar, weight loss, energy, mood, brain, pregnancy, anti-aging, or many other health-related issues? After 20 years in private practice, after seeing and overseeing 250,000 client appointments, I sincerely feel I have the real-world data and have found the answer you've been searching for. So what I've done is spent hundreds of hours of my own time refining what you need to know in order to uncover your underlying root cause health issues and then begin to rebalance the body and bring it back to a state of robust health and wellness. I'm going to teach you exactly what I do in my private practice so you can understand how you got here and now what you need to do in order to heal. You'll receive all of the important success checklists, protocols, and even ways to customize it to make the program fit your busy life. And you'll get all of this at a fraction of the price. Let me save you the time, money, energy, stress, and frustration of not knowing what to do next. Instead of reading dozens of books on the topic and seeing multiple practitioners, I will condense everything that you need to know in just a few hours of video tutorials that you can watch and listen to anywhere. Together, we will make this healing process an enjoyable one that you can take with you for the rest of your life. I wish you all of the best of health and happiness, and I hope to be able to guide you on your healing journey through my Health Results Accelerators. Simply choose the health imbalance you're currently suffering from, and by the end of today, you'll know what went wrong and how to get well again. I guarantee it. For details, head over now to stevencabral.com/courses.